Good afternoon everyone. I am Anjali from Computer Science and Engineering Department in Malareddy Engineering College of Engineering. I am giving a lecture on levels of testing. We do for testing for each and every application. Mostly we will do the testing, right? To that so that we will get a confirm that the application is working properly or not. Today we are going to discuss about levels of testing. In the levels of testing, we use this four types of testing. One is unit testing, and second one is integration testing, and third one is system testing, and fourth one is acceptance testing. First, unit testing. Unit testing is the testing the application of the smaller part of the software application. I am going to give the example on unit testing. Let's say the e-commerce application. In the e-commerce application, we have a login page, right? In the login page, we have a username, password, login and reset buttons, right? From the username, we will test the application of the username, nothing but the individual component. In the username, we will give the condition as 6 to 18 characters. Then we should test the application in between the 6 to 18 characters. Between that 6 to 18 characters, if we test that application while we giving the username as something like Anjali 123. Here we use 9 characters. That the application of the unit testing is passed. If we are going to beyond that condition, let's say the example for this is we have a 6 to 18 characters is the condition. If you the input of below 6, nothing but 5 characters. Let's say the example for this failure condition is ANJAL. This is we call it as a failure test case. That is all about unit testing. Let's say the next example for the integration testing. Integration testing is nothing but integrated the two individual different components. For the integration testing, we will take the same example of the login page. For the username, we used to test the application for 6 to 18 characters, right? Whereas coming to the password, we use the condition as characters, special characters, numeric characters. For this, the pass condition is nothing but we have to give the input as special characters, and the numeric characters. For this, the testing the test case pass condition is Anjali @123. This is the pass condition for the integration testing of the password. Whereas coming to the failure condition, if we give Anjali 123, this is a failure condition. Why? Because we are not using the special character, right? For this, we will do the integration. Here, the integration is nothing but integrating the two individual components. Whereas coming to the unit testing, we test the application for the individual component. In the integration, we will do the integration for the username and the password. When these both conditions are criteria or it is true, then only we call it as a integration testing is pass. Next, we will do for the system testing. System testing is nothing but test the entire system. Nothing but in the login page, we have username, password and then login button and the reset button. Here we do the testing. In the integration, we have covered username and password. Whereas coming to in the system testing, we should cover the login and reset button. When the username and password is passed, if they click on the login button, the test case should be passed. If in that case it is not at all, the button is not working, also we call that case as a failure. In that system testing, we should test the entire application, nothing but entire page, username, password, login and the reset. If we pass these four conditions, then will only the system testing is passed. Next, the fourth one is acceptance testing. Acceptance testing is the testing the final system, nothing but when the whatever we have tested the application, that application should be done by the user according. If that user meets that the requirements what we have developed, then that we call it as the acceptance testing is passed. At the next slide, here this is the format how we test the application. First we will do the unit testing. In the unit testing, we will do the smaller part of the or else individual component we used to test, and from the unit testing only we will do the integration testing, where the integration between the two different or individual components will be done here in the integration testing. Whereas coming to the third one, system testing. In the system testing, we'll cover username, password, login and the reset button. The everything, each and every field should be work, and that every field should be in the pass test case. Whereas coming to the acceptance testing, acceptance testing is done by the user, whether whatever the user has given the requirement to develop that application, if that what we have developed the application that does it meets to the user, we call that as an acceptance testing. And the next one, we have a different types of testing strategies here. One is recovery testing. Recovery testing is done in the whenever the system, if we apply the load, whenever, let's say the example, if we are applying the load to the application, in that case, sometimes if that failure may occur, let's just say the example that 404 error not found. If that error has been found, from that also it should be recover the application. Then we call it, we will do the recovery testing. How fast it recovers the software application. And the second one is security testing. Security testing is nothing but for the security purpose we will do the security testing. Let's say the example, security testing, whenever we will develop the software application, we will have some, what we should say, some authorities that application should be used within that company or within that what is it, application where they have developed. In that case, we will, for the security purpose only, we will do the security stress testing. And the next third one is stress testing. Stress testing is nothing but when we apply the load on the application. Let's say the example, for the e-commerce website only, at a time some thousands of users have been logged in into that login page. In that login page, he has to be get the input, get the output to the 1,000 users. Nothing but whatever they have done, the username and the password, that should get matched and that reverted to the particular user. In that stress testing, how it behaves the application, we will do in the stress testing. And the fourth one is performance testing. Performance testing is nothing but the load testing. And the load testing here is, that's what we have discussed in the stress testing. Stress testing is behavior type testing, whereas coming to the performance, if we have applied the load some 2,000 users, if they have been, but they have logged in, whether it is a pass case or the failure case. In that case, we will do the, for the each and every application, most of the e-commerce websites, we will definitely we will do the performance testing. And the fifth one is deployment testing. Deployment testing is done at the final stage of the application, whether the product, whatever we have developed, the application is entirely correct, which has met the user requirements or whatever the requirements which we have gathered from the user, that if each and every field has been met, then we will do the deployment testing, that whatever the application we have developed, that will be deployed in the environment where the user needs to want to apply it, and for the user use, that will be released into the market. That will be done in the deployment testing. Thank you. This is all about the levels of testing. Thank you.